There's an elected official in Ohio. He likes to say the N word and talk against holidays like Juneteenth. Well, people want him to resign. He said, absolutely not. Put up the picture full mass. I will give you the background. Predominantly white community in Ohio, they are urging this public official named Barton Fannin to resign from his role on the township's board of trustees. He's a trustee elected by the people. Why do they want him to go? Because he used a racial slur during a discussion about incorporating Juneteenth. Now remember, this is an open meeting. They had an open discussion about incorporating Juneteenth into the new calendar for the fire department, despite being recorded using the offensive word. The township trustee is adamant he will not step down from his position. Now keep that picture up for a minute, because I know some people are already scratching their head saying, wait a minute, why are they discussing incorporating an existing federal holiday? Well, you see the fella, Mr. Fannin, he, according to his own proclamation, was unaware that this was, in fact, a federal holiday. There's more. At an open meeting on Thursday, November 30th, Trustee Barton Fannin's public use of the N-word was addressed. Not only did community members step up to blast the trustee for his remark, but so did his colleagues. All asked him to resign, all of them, stating that his comment did not reflect the spirit of the little over 60,000 members of the Pickaway County community, and that he should do the right thing. Quote, I'm begging, absolutely begging Bart Fannin to resign, said trustee chairman Ralph Wolf as he sat next to the official at the meeting. Quote, that is not, and I repeat, that is not who this community is, Trustee John Maynard also said. One black woman present said, quote, we are mere weeks away from 2024. And the excuse that you did not know better is not valid. When asked to resign, Fannin replied flatly, according to 10 WBNS, quote, absolutely not, end quote. He also apologized for what he said, sharing that he learned a lot in the last 2 weeks since he uttered the word. I guarantee you, he uttered the word after that public meeting too. The remark was made as the board was deciding on the inclusion of Juneteenth in the new calendar during the public meeting on November 17th. Quote, I did not realize that was a freaking federal holiday, end quote, Fannin said. Wolf and Maynard attempted to explain Juneteenth to him. Wolf asked, you know what it means though, right? Question mark, which was a beautiful retort. He said, they took an N-word holiday, right? That is when immediately the chairman said, whoa, don't say that, before going into detail about how the celebration is a marker of the de facto end of slavery in the former Confederacy as Union troops moved into Texas after the Civil War ended. Wolf is adamant that Fannin must step down, period. Initially, my approach was to seek a private resolution out of respect for our community. However, despite private attempts to encourage Trustee Fannin's resignation, he remains resistant, the chairman said, according to NBC4, continuing, quote, it is crucial to emphasize that no racial or derogatory slur is accepted within the realm of our township. I recognize and commend his work ethic, but the use of such language is fundamentally at odds with the values of our township. While Fannin refused to relinquish his role as a public figure, he did release a public apology. Here's some of it. I use language that was not only disrespectful, but extremely hurtful and unacceptable. Fannin wrote, "My deepest sympathy goes to every individual and family that I have hurt. I have learned a lot from my actions, and I feel embarrassed by them. I hope over time I can earn this community's trust once again." I'll put up the picture of Mr. Fannin here. Mr. Fannin, the people of that community voted for you and trusted you. They already gave you their trust. You violated that trust because your racism is so profound that it found its way into a public, well-documented, well-attended meeting. Mr. Fannin, I know this is not the first time you've utilized the N-word or been derogatory against things that are connected to Black culture. I know that, so does everybody else. But your level of comfort to utilize it publicly is indicative of your level of disdain. How can you be in charge of policy, sir? Policy that requires you to look at things from an equitable lens rather than a biased one. How can you be fair to anyone in your community? And also, I actually believe the chairman. I believe your fellow colleagues. I believe them when they say, this is not how we roll. This is not the kind of township we are. I actually believe them because universally, every single one of them told you to get the hell out. Universally, every single one of them told you to resign immediately. They did not wait. They did not say we're investigating. They said you have to go. That's the reason I believe them and not you, sir. There's more. Nana Watson, president of the Columbus chapter of the NAACP, has weighed in, stating that his use of the word is disgusting. To hear that word coming from the lips of an elected official is appalling. It's disgusting, Watson said. Quote, that community should be horrified that he lives there and has no regard or value for differences in our community. The board does have a strategy, however, to remove Mr. Fannin, who was elected in 2022, to oust the politician from his role. Residents must generate a petition with signatures from 15% of registered voters. That's registered voters in the recent Ohio governor's race is what they will utilize. Following that, the petition will be presented to the Pickaway County Court. The court will make the final decision per the rules. Should the community not get all the signatures and the courts not remove him, Mr. Fannin will remain in office for 2 more years. His term expires in 2025. To the good people of Pickaway, if you need some help with that petition, call me. All right, I'll be glad to help you. All right, David, here we go. Another policymaker adverse to Black people saying the N-word in a public meeting.
Well, first of all, kudos to the other board members for acting so quickly and unequivocally in condemning this. And I presume that many of those board members were white, so they are trying to do their best. But I think this also shows that Mr. Fannin is not just a racist, but he is also selfish. Because if he really cared about his community, he would listen to the other board members. He would listen to the community and realize how much damage he has caused. If he wants to work on his racism and become a better person, that's fine. But don't do it on the taxpayer's dime. Take the time until the next election to learn, to go through whatever sort of self-evaluation you need to. But don't continue to embarrass your colleagues in your town by continuing to serve on this board. He should quit the board. If he actually cared about his community, he would leave the board yesterday. And if he really feels like he can make some sort of amends, make amends privately, and then run for re-election and see how you do.
There you go. Very well said. I concur completely.